Yes, I'm still here, Hollywood. And coming up on today's episode, some actors chase the spotlight. Others are the spotlight. Today's guest has spent decades delivering the kind of performances that stay with you long after the credits roll. She brings authority without trying, vulnerability without forcing it, and a realism that makes every character feel lived in. Whether she is stepping into massive blockbuster films or elevating prestige television, she has that rare ability to make you lean forward whenever she enters a scene. This is Still Here Hollywood. I'm Steve Kmetko. Join me with today's guest from Titanic, actor Frances Fisher. Frances, thanks for coming in today. It's a Sunday and you probably would rather be doing something else, but I'm glad you're here. Tell me about, was there a moment in your career when you felt a shift from working actor to artist?
That's an interesting question.
You thought these were going to be easy, didn't you?
Asked that this way. Artists, you start out as an artist, as all children do. We're all artists, you know. I grew up drawing a lot and doing plays in the living room with my little brother for our parents. So I think the art is always there. And it's becoming the working actor that's the challenge.
Has that been a challenge?
In the beginning, you know, trying to find enough work to stop being a bartender. I started my career in New York City, and I started out as a nanny, and then I found a more lucrative job as a bartender at Backstage, which was a big theatrical bar in Midtown. And then started doing a couple of commercials because there was a guy who took me around to all of his commercial agents and introduced me, and I started going out and making commercials. And I'll never forget, the first check I got was for $5,000.
Wow.
For a whole year.
Oh.
I was no, that was a good thing back then. So, yeah, and I've been fortunate enough to, once I started working, I haven't had to have a secondary job to supplement. I've had some lean years, as most actors have, but, yeah.
But you have a nice full resume now.
Well, I'm older.
Well, from your years in the business.
Yeah.
But some people don't accumulate a lot of jobs in the business.
I love to work.
Do you?
You know, I love being on a set. I love the whole feeling of that familiar endeavor that we're all working toward the same thing, to tell a great story.
What was the most difficult job you had as an actor?
Difficult. God, I should have prepared myself. It doesn't come at the top of my brain like what was the most difficult. Because usually when I take a job, I kind of know what I'm going to get into. Oh, I know. Oh, it just popped into my head.
There we go.
I did a play, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, long time ago, because I started in the theater. And I had a really hard time because the director told me exactly how to move the entire time. Now you're going to come over here and you're going to do that, and then you're going to get up and you're going to walk over there. I said, I don't work that. It's got to be organic, you know. So that was a very difficult thing because, you know, you're obligated to, you know, raise the curtain on opening night, and it was really, really hard. And okay, I'll tell you something else about it.
Okay.
So, the leading man was like really mean to me. And I realized everybody was, because I was playing Maggie the cat, right? The outsider.
Right.
And I was just having such a terrible time. Even in rehearsals, like, can you get me that prop? And they were slow at it. And it's like, what is going on here? So I called my friend, who was the assistant to Stella Adler, because I studied with Stella Adler when I first went to New York. And he said, what color is your hair? I go, what does my hair color have to do with anything? What color is your hair? I said, well, it's kind of reddish blonde. What about the rest of the cast? Well, they're reddish blonde too. We all look alike. We're a family. He says, go out and get a bottle of hair dye and dye your hair black. Do the show and let me know. So I thought, what do I have to lose? I'm having a terrible time in rehearsal anyway. Dyed my hair black. The whole thing came together because all of a sudden it was like, who is this person? And it gave me a like fuck you attitude that Maggie needed that I hadn't inhabited yet. I don't know if any of this is going to be interesting for you.
Oh, no. That's very interesting.
But yeah. So, and when my father came to see me, he goes, all I could see was you, because in this sea of blonde-haired people, I could focus on you because your hair was black. And it was like, the focus went right there. And of course the director, you ruined my vision. And it's like, well, you know what? This wasn't working. It's working now, baby.
You have a voice. And you like to use it, don't you?
Yes, sir.
That's good for you.
Yes, sir.
To tell them what you envision and what can make things work better.
Well, you know, when you try every which way and it doesn't work, thank God for my friend who gave me that suggestion. Completely out of from left field. It was a visual. It was a visual cue.
What made you decide you wanted to be an actor?
I was working as a secretary at Firestone Synthetic Rubber and Latex Company in Orange, Texas, right after I got out of high school. And one of the shift workers, Gene Goza, I'll never forget him, it's been over 50 years, he came in from his shift, 8 o'clock in the morning, he said, you're young, you're 18 years old, we're doing this extravaganza for the town, a little bitty town, Orange, Texas. We're all going to be up on stage, and we're going to be singing and dancing and doing skits. Do you want to play? And sure. I had no idea that this even was going on in this little bitty town I was living in. And from there, I was asked by a theater director, Bob Papania, to audition for Summer and Smoke at the Orange Players. I go, what's the Orange Players? Oh, it's the community theater. I didn't even know that town had a community theater. So I did that play, and I was hooked. It opened up the world to me, to be able to say Tennessee Williams words and watch that beautiful play every night. It just sparked something in me that made me say, I got to get out of here. I've got to pursue a dream of being able to make stuff up and hopefully get paid for it, but just the idea of making stuff up and creating a whole other world besides the one I was living in, that appeals to me.
What appeals to you when you're accepting a role? What do you want to see in a part?
Something that makes me go, oh, I know. Oh, yeah. I know who she is. Yeah, that's the first thing.
You grew up in multiple countries.
Mm-hmm.
How did that shape the way you observe people?
That's a very good way to put it, because what I have learned after living in so many different countries, born in England, lived in Colombia, Canada, Rio de Janeiro, Israeli, Turkey, Milan, Iowa.
That's a different country.
Texas. People are people. It doesn't matter what language they speak, the food they eat, the clothes they wear. You know, everybody has a heart. Everybody wants their children to grow up and be happy, to be healthy, to have food on the table. That's mostly what I observed. And the interesting thing is when we came back from Turkey and we moved to Orange, Texas when I was 13. It was 1965, and that's when integration happened. And to see the people, some of the people in that town, being upset that the kids were going to be integrated now, I was surprised. It's the first time I was confronted with bigotry in my own country. Is that too political?
No, 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 no. I'm taking in my own. I'm locking my own mouth. Why did you move so much?
My dad worked for Foster Wheeler, which was a company that built oil refineries and steel mills all over the world. In fact, he built the first oil refineries in Iran in 1948, before I was born.
Wow.
Yeah, that was kind of, he said, all we did was play bridge. We lived in barracks, we played bridge. You couldn't even have a beer,
In Iran.
In Iran, yeah, yeah. So it was, my mother was very adventurous. And he would come home and he'd say, well, kids, sit down at the table. I got a job in Turkey. Who wants to go? And my mom's hand would go up first, and the rest of us kids would go, yeah, let's go to Turkey. And we had trunks she would pack, and we traveled the world that way. I started first grade in France, in Le Havre, and there was no American school there, so I was put into a French school. And I think back now, I think, God, I was 6 years old, people speaking a completely different language. I had no idea what they were saying. How does a child survive that?
And how did you survive that?
And I did. I learned to speak French. And how did I learn to read English? We had little Lulu comic books in our apartment. And I taught myself. And, of course, my mother read to me. My mother still read to me when I was 6. And somehow transitioned from first grade in France to living in Rio de Janeiro, second grade.
Where they spoke a whole nother language.
Different language, but it was an American school, thank God, so it was a little easier, yeah.
Do you think constantly being the new person made you a better actor?
It made me adaptable. It made me become a chameleon, where I would just figure out the situation and how can I best fit into it and not make waves, not draw attention to myself. So the acting life is kind of like, not that I don't want to draw attention to myself, but it's about fitting into a new family of people and learning people really fast, because you become like that, if you're lucky. And I've been really lucky with the people I've worked with over the years.
Do you still practice that today, the skills you learned as a child? Learning how to fit in?
How to fit in?
Yeah.
Well, don't we all do that? I mean, if you walk into a party, you kind of like suss out what's going on, where's the energy? Do I want to go over to the bar and
Is there someone here I like?
Do I know anybody here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
What did young Frances misunderstand about success, or understand about success?
Young? I didn't even know what that word is. The only thing I can remember my father saying to me, both of my parents are gone, and as my daughter says, "You're an orphan, Mommy?" Like, yeah, when you get to be my age, you usually are. But my father used to say, you have ambition. And I was so young, I didn't even understand what that meant. But he must have seen something in me that was curious. And that I was relentless in learning about things.
Was there one part in particular that you noticed brought you notoriety, widespread notoriety?
I don't know if I am notorious. It just seems to be...
So that people knew you, I mean.
Well, it depends on who's watching, right? It's like I did a soap opera when I was in New York. I did plays, but they didn't pay any money, so I got myself on a soap opera. And for the soap opera crowd, I was notorious. But I don't know to who else. It's just, I had a publicist a few years ago, but it's funny, I'm not into it for that. I just like the work. I just like doing the work.
Getting a paycheck is nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is? Do you watch your own performances?
Sometimes, if I I got into this is how old I am. I got into the habit of, going home after shooting the soap opera and watching what I did 2 days before, because that was before tapes. So you have to turn the TV on at 4:00 and watch yourself, because I wanted to see if the choices I made came through. And then when I started doing movies and television, I would want to watch to see if the choices I made came through, or if the director chose the right take. Because sometimes they would choose a take like, why did they do that? I did so much better. But an actor doesn't have the control, especially starting out in the business. I forgot the question. I forgot what you asked me.
I think I did too. I'd like to talk about Titanic.
Really?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
What did you think when you first got the script?
I have a good story about that. Can I tell you?
Yes,
the story?
please. Take all the time you'd
I
like.
said, I started out in New York. I spent about 14 years there doing theater and the soap opera and auditioning a lot, in person. Love in-person auditions. You look right in the eyes of the person as we're talking now, and I can get something from you, So when I moved out to Los Angeles in the late 80s, I was going through my address book, something that nobody has anymore. That's how old we are. Little black books with names and dates.
Rolodex.
Rolodex. So I was flipping through my address book, and I came across Mally Finn, the great casting director, God rest her soul. And I thought, God, I haven't talked to Mally in a long time. I'm going to call her. Left her a message. I said, Mally, it's been a long time. Frances Fisher, I just want to let you know I moved out to L.A. Would love to see you. I don't know where you are, but I'm just thinking of you. The next week, my agent got Titanic. And I swear, if I hadn't made that call, I don't think that opportunity would have even come to me. And when I read it, oh my God, tear stains on certain pieces, the mother putting her children to bed, the older couple holding each other in the bed as the water pours in. That moved me deeply.
Did you know, or did anyone know at the time, that it would be as big a movie as it was?
Well, it was big when we were doing it. And of course, nobody can predict. You think you're going to have a great movie, and it'll be a flop, one way or the other. But I knew I wanted to do it. I understood that character, and the line, "We're women, our choices are never easy." I wanted to say that line so badly, to represent the women who didn't have a voice.
I remember James Cameron, the night of the Oscars, holding up his Oscar and saying, "I'm king of the world."
Yeah, he got a lot of shit for that.
Oh,
and
did he?
I don't know why, because that was like a line he wrote, and it's what Leo did
Right,
in the movie.
it seemed natural.
And it's, 11 Oscar wins. My God, with the amount of work that went into doing that movie, my God, we shot 6 months. We did the flashback in 6 months down in Rosarito Beach. And he was relentless. He was great to work with.
Was he?
Just great.
What
Yeah, we had a lot of
qualities made him a good director?
He's focused and creative. If something wasn't working, he'd go, okay, well, let's try this, let's try that. a story I tell, but I don't think it's ever been out there. When we were doing the scene where Kate walks down the grand staircase and Leo's there, trying to be a gentleman by fake shaking hands and stuff. We got in there and we were shooting, and one of the angles was, Leo looking up, and behind him was the floor, the black and white floor. And Jim said, "Stop, there's a mark on the floor, there's a scuff mark." Because, we had been shooting other scenes, but this was a brand new ship. There should not have been any scuff marks on that floor, because it was new. So he says, "We need to rub that out." So everybody goes scurrying, and as does he. And he's the first one to come back with a bucket and a rag. And he gets down on the floor. I'm standing right there. I go, "Jim, what are you doing? You've got people for that." He goes, "I've done every job on a set. I knew exactly where the stuff was." And he found it first. And he was down there scrubbing the floor. Team player.
Back with more in a moment. If you'd like to be more involved with us at Still Here Hollywood, you definitely can. Just visit patreon.com/stillherehollywood. You can support us for as little as $3 a month. You can get our episodes a day before they post anywhere else. You can see what guests will be coming up and submit questions for them. You can even tell us what stars you want us to have on as guests. You'll see what goes on before and after the episode, plus exclusive behind-the-scenes info, pics, video, and more. Again, that's patreon.com/stillherehollywood. What was it like working with Leonardo and with Kate? You played Kate's mother.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
They were both still fairly new to the business.
Yeah, but they both had a lot of experience.
Right.
I mean, they reached superstardom because of Titanic, but they were both extraordinary, in their own right. Gilbert Grape,
Right.
Yeah.
For which he got an Oscar nomination as a young man.
Mm-hmm. They were great to work with, that's the whole point of being in this business, is to be able to play with people and, just make stuff up and see where it goes.
And you had Kathy Bates.
Kathy,
and Victor Garber.
Victor, yeah. Jonathan Hyde. Rochelle Rose. Yeah, we're Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Yeah. We had a great time.
Did you like the costumes?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Deborah Scott is a genius. Every piece of costume, even down to the very last background person, was dressed in authentic clothes. Even the undergarments. She wanted everybody to be so realistic. She had a huge warehouse in Rosarita Beach of just costumes lined up and up on, huge, doubled. And they made a couple of costumes for me. But they also got authentic costumes, too. And it was... I could come to work in any state of mind at all, even hungover. And the minute I got my hair put up and got that corset on, I was that character. It was one of the easiest characters because I understood her so well. And my audition is one of my favorite stories to tell because it wasn't like I wanted to get the job. In that moment, I was that character, and I was just showing Jim how I would interpret her. Yeah. In-person audition, not tape.
You prefer in-person, don't you?
Yeah, because, when I went to the callback, my first audition was for Mally, and I was put on tape. And months went by, I didn't hear anything, so I thought, okay, another one bites the dust. And then I got a call to come to his offices to do all the scenes, including the corset scene and a few other scenes for him. Oh no, I got to do it all again. I just did it on the tape. So I'm sitting in the waiting room, and this guy comes bounding out. He goes, "Francis Fisher?" I go, "Yeah." Guy, like lumberjack shirt and jeans, and he jaunts back down this hall, and he takes me to this this conference room with a huge table with about 40 seats around it. And I walk in, and I see Mally, and I see her assistant. I go, "Well, where's Mr. Cameron?" And the guy, that jaunty guy, said, "That's me." Because, nobody knows what directors look like. Not back then, anyway. And we looked at each other, and he goes, "You don't have to do any of the scenes that I asked you to do. Let's just focus on the end of the movie." I go, "The end of the movie? You mean when the ship sinks?" I have these little bits, they're tiny bits.
Right.
So I said, "Well, can we just shoot a bit, and then we'll stop, and we'll shoot another little bit and stop?" He goes, "Yeah." He pulls out his Super 8. He's doing the Super 8 on me as I'm doing the little bits of scenes. And then comes the scene where I'm supposed to be in the boat, and Kate is up on the deck. And I say, "Get in the boat, Rose."
Right.
So I said, I was having such a good time playing with him. It wasn't even work. It was playing, because this is what I'm going to show you here, and let's do this. And I said, "You'll probably want to shoot down on me. Can we get on the table, and I'll step down into the chair, and then you'll be able to shoot down on me?" He goes, "That's a great idea. Let's do it." So everybody gets up on the conference room table, and he makes like some little joke like, "Well, if I'm sick, you'll know how to shoot the scene." And I'm thinking, oh, that was a nice thing to say. So we did that scene, and I guess what I want to say about it is that I just felt so connected to the character and so happy to do material that was good, because there's a lot that isn't, and you have to really make it shine. This shone by itself. All I had to do was step into the character.
At one point, didn't you, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going strictly from memory, which isn't that reliable anymore. Didn't you play Lucille Ball?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big to-do about that. It seems to me I remember there was a big casting search to find
God.
just the right person to play Lucy, because she was such a, television goddess.
That could have been a horrible experience. Let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
In time. When I lived in New York, a couple of times, one of my acting teachers were Stella Adler and Lee Strasberg and Sandra Seacat. And we would have sessions at my loft, the group of actors who were working. We would do scenes and things like that. But I'd come in one day and showed a contact sheet to my fellow actors. And for those who are not old enough to remember contact sheets, it was 36 pictures on a sheet of paper. You picked the one that you wanted for your headshot. And at the end of the shoot, the photographer had said, "Let's play around a little bit. Let's put your hair up different, put some different makeup on, whatever." Took a couple of shots, and when they came out, he says, "You look a lot like Lucille Ball before she became I Love Lucy." Really, I had never researched Lucille Ball when she was a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
So I started reading about her, and I became very connected to her life story and how she went from being super poor to creating a studio with her husband and
running it.
And my God, what a woman. I thought, someday I'm going to play that woman. I want to play her. And cut to years later, I happened to be looking at backstage, and it said CBS is doing Lucy and Desi Before the Laughter. I thought, oh, okay. So I went back. I called that photographer who took my pictures years before. I said, let's do pictures of me as Lucille Ball. I'm going to send those in as my headshot. And that's what I did. We took pictures and sent them in. I was at the top of the casting list. But yeah, they did, like, for publicity. It was such a waste of time because I knew I was going to get it. I just knew it. But they didn't cast me because they were doing this publicity tour, wasting time, wasting money, just to get some hype around it, you know. Yeah, anyway.
Was that daunting, playing Lucille Ball?
No, the production was daunting because I was in every single scene except one. And it was fast-paced because it was a TV movie. And, you know, you shoot 8-9 pages a day. It was like one thing to another. There was a scene where I had to play, not a violin, I had to play like a bass. Is that what it is? And I remember at lunchtime, I was trying to work with it because the scene was up right after lunch. I didn't have any time because it was so fast-paced, you know. So that was not the best experience, but I was just so grateful to be able to play her and make her come alive. And it turned out to be pretty cheesy. But what are you going to do?
Did you ever think about becoming a redhead? Technicolor Tessie, that's what her nickname was.
Yeah.
When you meet a character for the first time, what is the very first question you ask yourself?
What does she want? Why is she in this scenario? What does she want, and how does she fit in with everybody else? Those are the questions.
Is there one emotional place you will not go unless the director has truly earned your trust?
No. There's nothing off limits.
No? Yeah. You're there to call on the experience if you need it.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, by the time you get to set, you've worked on the script. You kind of know, you know, where you're going.
Are you still having a good time?
I
Not
just
here. I mean, in life in general.
Oh, God, in life in general. Are we going to go there? In life, this world, my God. It's such a challenge for all of us. I did 3 movies last year in 2025 that I'm really looking forward to seeing the final cut of it, but they're in the process of being edited now. I still love acting. A lot of the stuff I do is under the radar. I haven't done a studio film in quite a few years, but I'm doing a lot of independence. And I also just did a play here in Los Angeles. What is today? 2026. I did it in January 2025, right when the fires happened. My God, we were supposed to open that night, and the fires were raging, and so everything had to be postponed. But it was Death of a Salesman, and I loved being able to spend that much time working on the text and really getting it, digesting it, and making it come from my insides and not lines, the beautiful lines that Arthur Miller wrote.
What is something audiences completely misunderstand about how acting actually works?
Oh, my goodness, these questions. I don't know. I guess it's subjective. It depends on the audience member who's watching. I don't know. I couldn't get into their heads to know what they would think about it. But it's not just standing there saying words. You know, you have to have it's what I learned at the Actors Studio when I became a member. One of the things Lee would say, what do you want and how many ways can you get it. So it makes your action active. So if I need something from you, I could be sweet to get it. If that doesn't work, I could demand it. Or I could punch you out. Or I could manipulate you in some way. You know, all these active things of how to make the scene stay alive and keep the energy going between your scene partner, to find different ways to get something so you're not doing the same thing over and over and over again, the same way, just because it's easier for, you know, the editor.
Can I go into personal relationship territory at all?
It depends on with who.
Okay. You tell me. You got quite a bit of print, a lot of ink about you and Clint Eastwood. What stands out the most about your time with him? I've interviewed him several times, by the way, and I really like him, so if that makes any difference.
I liked him too.
Okay, good.
What stands out?
You have a daughter together,
Yeah,
don't
we have
you?
a daughter together.
Is that
yeah.
Francesca?
Francesca, yeah. Yeah, she just had her second boy.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. What stood out about him? Like
Yes,
in
about
what
that.
phase
About your
of
time
life?
together. When you think
He's
back on it.
very easygoing. I never saw him ever get rattled about anything. And I think that that's what, it was great being on a set with him because we did Unforgiven together. And
For which he won the Oscar.
yeah, yeah. And Gene
And Gene,
won
yes.
an Oscar, and Joel Cox won for editing, and then he also got Best Picture,
Right.
didn't he? Yeah. The quiet on the set was remarkable. There was such a show of respect, and I think he commands that. He's very easygoing, very quiet, you know, doesn't move around much. Well, you know.
Yes.
And if he doesn't want to answer a question, he'll just look at you, right?
Right. And that's where it ends.
But
What do you think has made he's been such a big star for so long? What do you suppose it is? What qualities does he imbue that people relate to and latch on to?
Well, he won't do anything he doesn't want to do. That's very clear. He does it his way. And you either get on board or you don't.
And if you don't,
Bye-bye.
the ship sails.
Yes. There's always another ship, though.
Tell me about Francesca.
What do you want to know?
Well, do the two of you, well, she has her second child, right? That's what you said.
We're
So
grandparents now.
So
yeah.
you don't necessarily meddle. You don't strike me as the meddling type, neither does he.
No.
How do you advise her about life?
If she asks, I don't advise anything. You know, when I had my chance when she was a little girl, and teaching her to look left and right and not open the door for anybody, you know, that kind of stuff, those safety things. And if she wants to talk, I'm there to listen, but I don't meddle. I'm not one of those kind of mothers, you know, not a helicopter mother. In fact, there are moments when I regret, you know, you have these memories that come up. And I remember her standing in the doorway, and I was working on something. I've been a board member at Screen Actors Guild and now SAG-AFTRA I'm in my 26th year, and I was working on something really important on my computer, and she was standing there going, "Mommy, come play with me. Just a minute, honey. I'll never..." And I feel like a terrible mother because I made her wait because I needed to take care of this that was so important. And of course I went and played with her, you know, 10 minutes later. but that memory of me refusing
Time to
her.
let it go, Frances.
I know. I guess I should. God. Yes, thank you. I will let it go.
I'm sure she doesn't hold it against you.
She probably doesn't even remember.
Probably not. What did your relationship with Clint teach you about yourself and about acting? Was he a good teacher?
Acting? He was very subtle about things. You know, when we were together and he said, you know, I've got this script that I've had in my drawer for about 17 years. It's called The William Money Killings. Do you want to read it? Because there are 2 parts. Maybe you might want to, you could pick whichever part you want. Whoa, really?
That's
oh my
nice.
God, dream come true. So I read it, and I said I like Strawberry Alice because she, you know, she's the one that makes things happen. She hires the 2 cowboys to get the bounty. She's active. He goes, yeah, she's feisty. That's all he ever said about that character. And that word was the direction I needed to play her the way I did. Always remembering that he saw her as feisty.
And we'll be right back. Being with Clint as closely as you were, he's so mythologized in Hollywood. Did he change the way you see the business at all?
Being with him gave me an insight into a whole other echelon of what the business is, because they were the big people, you know? I came from the theater and independent movies, and being able to be in that kind of crowd was a whole other thing. You know, I thought, oh, those guys are making a business deal over there on the couch, you know. It was a whole different world. So it was interesting to see it, that perspective of it, you know.
What's your favorite part of being a grandmother?
Oh, God, just having the time to just play and be with the innocence of childhood again.
Get off your typewriter.
Yeah.
You also dated George Clooney.
No, I didn't. That is like such a crazy thing. We were at a pool hall or something like that, and somebody took a picture of us standing next to each other because we were talking. I met George. I think we were both under 5s on Roseanne. That's how far back we go. And he had really long hair. He's like goofy looking. I thought, this guy's never going to make it. He's like just too much of a mess. I didn't really say he's never going to make it. I don't say those things. But I thought, oh, that guy, you know. Well, here I am. I'm an under 5 too. I don't know if I'm going to make it. This is going way back.
What's an
Roseanne.
under 5?
Under 5 means you have less than 5 lines to say, because if they give you 6 lines, they raise your salary.
Oh.
So I don't even know that exists anymore. Yeah, but we were both under 5s. And so we were friendly, but we didn't date.
I'm sorry. At this stage of your life, what matters less than you once thought it did?
What I look like. I think back now when I was younger and very pretty, because you're just naturally pretty when you're younger, right? Everybody's pretty when you're young because you've got the collagen and youth, and now it's like it took a lot for me to get some lipstick on and like a little bit of makeup. I don't want to be in front of a camera. All that stuff. I like this, not that. Does that make sense?
Careful, we're the same age.
We are?
Yes, we are. Exactly.
When is this going to air? Do you know?
A while from now,
Okay.
a couple of months maybe,
Couple of
maybe a
months?
month.
Okay.
Why?
Because I'm going to have a birthday.
So am
is
I.
it- When's your birthday?
Next Sunday.
Ooh, 73.
3.
Oh, well, I'm going to be 74.
Okay,
I'm
you win.
older than you. Oh, my God.
I give that to you.
73.
What has, at this age, what has heartbreak taught you?
Oh, God.
It's taught me that I make bad choices.
There are so many forms of heartbreak. I feel that as I see what's going on in the world, my heart breaks every day. I've lost a lot of friends in the last 2 months.
Really?
And I feel as if I'm just now coming out of not crying every single day. And then my beloved dog died. And he was a companion for 17 years.
Those are hard.
He was on location with me all last year. And the compounding of so many things that are heartbreaking. What has it taught me? Resilience, that it's important to feel your feelings, even anger and despair, and to wail. Let it out. And the clouds clear. That's one of the things I used to tell my daughter when she was crying. It's like clouds, and your tears are like the rain. And you know how when it rains and rains and rains and the tears come from heaven, and then all of a sudden, what happens? The clouds go away and then you see the sun again. And that's what grief is to me. It's you have to let it rain until it stops. And then there's something that gives me gratitude, even if it's to look out my window and see a flower growing.
If you could sit across from your younger self, what would you warn her about Hollywood?
Oh, God. Wow, these are such great questions. Oh, how young would I have to be?
You choose.
Well, I got to tell you, I think my older self gave my younger self some advice that I'm just thinking of now. Because when I was 18, I was probably 20 by the time I left Texas. And I went the theater route. Because I just had a feeling that if I went to Hollywood, to Los Angeles back then, that I probably wouldn't have survived, because I was very naive. And I knew what theater was like, and that's what I wanted to do. I went to New York to do theater and to be in that space that I knew. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to say Hollywood was good to me, but it wasn't good for me.
Ah, yeah. Well, you talking about the 70s?
Yeah. My 70s?
Yeah, the 70s.
The 70s.
The late 70s, early 80s.
yeah.
Oh, my Lord. You know who I just saw last night?
Who?
Ricky Lee Jones.
Oh, no kidding.
She was at the Wallace.
Chucky's in Love.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And turns out she's younger than we are.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that in a person. Do you think social media has made fame heavier?
I think it's messed up a lot of people.
I think it has too.
Yeah. It's just something that is... I see kids, it's all about themselves. I see people posting on their pages, and it's the same expression, just maybe wearing a different shirt. It's like, what the fuck? What is this? Oh, God, I feel so bad.
Doesn't it make you wonder if they're living life or watching it this way? I just don't get it.
Yeah. I know that when I'm videotaping or taking pictures, I'm not as involved as if I'm just have my phone down and I'm just relating. It's always a hard thing, because I also want to record a memory too. It's very bizarre. Do you know we're the last generation to have grown up without phones? We had the freedom of going out and having to come home when the fireflies came out, or when Mom rang the bell on the back porch.
Mm-hmm. I know that in Chicago, growing up in Chicago, there was always a crawl across the bottom of the TV. I think it was at 10 o'clock or maybe 9:30. Do you know where your children are? Yeah, that was...
And then at midnight, the whole thing would go off, remember?
Go to hash, yeah.
And there was that thing, that weird weather... What was that?
Well, there was a
thing?
Where I was. The test pattern was a Native American, and they'd play the national anthem.
Oh yeah, the flag waved.
Yes,
and then the test pattern would go on for a while.
Right.
And then I remember when CNN came on the scene. Oh my God, we were all so excited. You get news 24 hours a day. You can stay up till 2 a.m, smoke your weed, and watch. Oh my God.
You smoke weed?
Did I say that? Not anymore.
Oh, that's why I was asking.
Not
I
anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. Yeah.
CNN, that we used to refer to it as chicken noodle news.
Why?
In the early days, that's just because it didn't have the heft of a CBS or an NBC.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting about like TV having 3 channels, right? One TV set in the living room where the whole family came around, and it was a social thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll never forget. I was on a set, a location for a movie I was doing with Winona Ryder, and walked into the house. It was supposed to be my character's house, and it's like every room had a TV in it, and I was like, every single room. Now everybody has a TV in every room, and the phone, and the iPad, and I sound like an old person. Oh my God.
No, you don't.
Back in the day, just like our grandparents used to say, well, back in my time, here we are, we're doing the same thing. Oh no.
What is something you know about life that took you far too long to learn?
Life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. It's going so fast. Like with my girlfriends, it was like, what happened to 50s? What happened to our 50s? What happened to our 40s? Well, we're so busy living life that it's going so fast. And now, as a young person, you see the road open like that, right? And I can't help but think that the road has made a lot of turns and hills and valleys. And there's something at the end of it, but it seems the perspective has changed and it's getting narrower. And I don't know if that's real or not.
Do you ever worry about what you have to look forward to? What life holds ahead?
Oh, God. Do I worry about it? No, I don't worry. I don't. Worry is creating things that will never happen. It's a waste of energy.
Oh, I waste my energy all the time.
Yeah. No. You got to stop worrying. God, that's one of the things that can eat a person up, is to worry. I know because I've done that before, and I realize I'm just spinning out. There's no sense looking back at the past unless you want to clean something up and,
What makes
atone.
Frances Fisher happiest these days?
After doing all the work that I do on the platforms that I do, and then going to a comedian who can put through their lens, some humor about something that's a very serious situation, that makes me feel good. That's like at the end of a day, getting a job I want. Ooh, that feels really good. And that I get to go to work now. Let's do this. Yes.
Has the woman you became surprised the girl you once were?
I never thought about what I was going to become.
Never?
I think I set my sights too low in terms of my work, because all I wanted to be was a respected actress. That was foremost to me. In retrospect, I realized I should have said I want to be a movie star, because then you get the chance to get better parts, bigger money, and choices with who you're going to work with. But again, I went to New York because I was afraid of the Hollywood thing and what other girls that I know went through. None of that for me.
This has been delightful, Frances. Thank you very much.
Has it been an hour already?
Oh, I think it may have been longer than an hour.
I didn't talk about half the
That's
stuff
how
I thought we were gonna
fascinating
talk.
you are.
Was it good? I don't know. You know, these questions are, I've never been asked questions like these.
I'm sorry.
No. Do you ask everybody the same questions?
No.
Because we just went.
I haven't asked any other people about playing Lucy.
You could ask Nicole if she come. Nicole Kidman played her a couple of years ago.
You know, I liked that movie.
Yeah.
It didn't get very good notices, but
yeah,
I thought it was pretty decent.
yeah,
I've watched it again since I saw it in the theater.
yeah.
I've watched Titanic many times.
We're going to hit our 30-year anniversary. We shot it in 1996, 30 years ago, and it came out in 1997. 30 years. Where does it go?
I don't know, and people still talk about it. It's like toilet paper. The closer you get to the end.
The faster it goes.
Yes.
You're going to use that now,
I am
aren't
going to
you?
use that. I'm just trying to, it has to be the right place.
Yeah.
Still Here Hollywood is a production of the Still Here Network. All things technical run by Justin Zangerly. Theme music by Brian Sanishin. And executive producer is Jim Lichtenstein.